Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the final episode of our hit radio roleplay, Disney Heroes. This is it, people, the finale, the big one.
Yay!
For those of you wondering, we were originally going to run 16 episodes on this. We decided to cut it down to 15. If you watch this, we hope you enjoyed this finale. Stay tuned after the finale. We're going to cut this video. There will be another video immediately following this where we're going to do a little post-season wrap-up, talk about our favorite episodes, best moments, things like that there. So, stay tuned for that. Joining me, as always, are the cast. The best one, Richter Hammer.
Yo, yo, yo.
It's crime time. And the other one, Marcus Shadow.
I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud.
Nah, no one can teach that.
Fuck you!
How you doing?
So, like I said, this is the finale. We're going to pick up where we left off on our cliffhanger last week. And this might get a little insane. Bear with us. We hope you enjoy it. Last time on Disney Heroes, the team had just managed to defeat Dr. Facilier, Jafar, and to some extent Scar, as all were pulled into the trap that Noah overclocked using the last of the power from the old system from the retired base underneath Cinderella Castle. As the team returned to their base, they ran into their supposedly unconscious, comatose friend Jacob standing on the dock. However, this was not Jacob. Forgive me for not jumping for joy. Bad back, you know.
Jeff balls his hands into fist and bares his teeth. Okay, I'm getting sick of all of this mind control bullshit. You let him go right now.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't do that. I'll admit this wasn't the initial plan I had in mind, but this worked out rather well. You see, fighting you directly was never going to be that much of an option. I'm afraid when it came to brute strength, I'm at the shallow end of the gene pool when compared to my brother. However, when it comes to brains, I got the lion's share. You see, unlike most of the simpletons you fought, I realized a few things. First of all, there's a limited amount of darkness, negativity to go around. As much as some of these villains have received a following as of late, they are still villains. There are still those who hate and despise them. And dividing the darkness among so many makes all weak. However, uniting the darkness as one, well, one could be unstoppable.
Adrian's
Now,
eyes light up. Wait, you used us to take out your competition.
very good. You're further ahead of the game than I expected. Some of them were easier than others. That fool Jafar truly believing he was going to get some of my power was rather an easy manipulation, but some of the others a bit more difficult. I'll admit this, my intent was merely to pass down the competition, but then, well, Hades had such a wonderful idea. Of course, the fool could never have realized that an undead host would never suffice for something like this. He paces back and forth as he continues to speak. You see, whether light or darkness, both live here. He taps Jacob's chest. In the heart. A host with a beating heart is required to harness the power truly. And, well, this one happened to work out nicely. Luckily, I was able to realize your magic and technology combinations, well, easy to manipulate. Clue broke down your technological barriers, and Facilier was able to weaken the magic with his voodoo. I didn't intend to get pulled in myself, but once I was in here, well, it was still weak enough that this was rather child's play. But don't think that just because my brothers in arms, as it were, are gone, that they are forgotten. Scar holds out Jacob's wrist hand. The watch glows an evil purple and lights up. It begins scrolling through the forms of all the villains.
David's jaw starts to drop as he thinks of the implications. Oh no.
Their well, they themselves might be gone, but their powers are mine. So, there are two ways we can do this. You can surrender to me now. Join me. With your help, I can corrupt the light. The darkness will become unstoppable. Or be destroyed.
Alfred picks up a nearby trash can and chucks it at Jacob Scar. No way, dude!
Jacob Scar ducks and the trash can flies over his head, clanging to the ground. Well, that was rather barbaric. But no matter, I of course anticipated the reaction. I merely thought I'd offer an opportunity. I am a benevolent ruler, if nothing else. But it would seem the time for games is over. Scar's eyes glow further purple as the watch lights. As it does, a lightning storm forms overhead, the clouds turning deep purple and encompassing the park.
Adrian taps
Oh.
Noah on the shoulder, who has been quiet the whole time. Dude, I hope you have a plan.
Noah shakes his head, snapped out of the temporary trance he was in, at seeing one of his own comrades turned against them yet again. This time in such a complete manner. We've dealt with mind control before, but this is a whole nother level. It's the darkness. The darkness has corrupted the watch and his heart. Admittedly easy to do when, well, he wasn't exactly there to defend it. Maybe he was and it overpowered him, who knows, but I don't know. I don't want to hurt Jacob, but he would want us to save the park. I think the only thing we can do is fight.
David looks around uneasily. I don't know, dude. It's not. But that's our friend. We just can't. David begins pacing back and forth.
Jeff looks down at the ground. No, I will not fight Jacob.
Noah turns and looks at Jeff. I know how you feel. Remember, I've been there the whole time. I know what happened. But if Jacob were here, he would want us to stop Scar no matter what. Remember, he was here before all of you. He was here working toward the goal of stopping these demons once and for all and saving the parks and the world. If I know Jacob, it's that if he were here, he'd want to make up for some of the things that he's done. He didn't exactly have the best record of things before he got here, but this was his chance at redemption. He wouldn't want to ruin just because Scar decided to change the game.
A light flashes behind the group, and Alfred steps forward, wearing his Frozone armor. All right, well, we gotta get it done, right? So let's do it. He begins swirling ice around his hands. Just say the word, boss. Just say the word.
Adrian steps up next to Alfred, rotates the watch, and slams it down as a red and black spandex suit appears over his body and a black mask over his face. I'm with you, Alfie. I'm with you. Jeff drops to his knees, plants his hands on the ground, and just closes his eyes, unmoving.
David walks up to his brother. Dude, what are you... But you can't do that. That's actually him. Alfred turns. I know, man, but we gotta do it. Like Noah said, it's what he would want. It's not gonna get better. Like, maybe there's a silver lining. Maybe, love will win the day. But for right now, we gotta make sure that he doesn't cause any damage and try to slow him down. David sighs and looks around confused, trying to figure out what to do.
Noah looks at the two who have stepped forward. He nods, feeling a sense of pride, knowing that the members of his team have understood their mission so well. He turns to the other two. I know we were all close to Jacob. I don't want to do this any more than you do. It's like they said, for now, maybe we can slow him down, and you can buy me some time to think of a way to undo this without hurting him, but we can't just let Scar run amok. Look around us. He's got the park as it is. Who knows what'll happen?
David looks at Jeff and looks at Jacob and looks down, lost in thought and sad. He has a deep sigh. He stares back up at Jacob, his eyes more determined. Okay. He turns his watch defiantly and slams it down, gaining the armor of Baymax. It's time to heal him.
Adrian looks over at Noah. You joining us? I don't think Jeff is going to be much use at the moment. I think we better just leave him be.
Noah looks toward Jeff, who is still lost in thought. Very well. Jeff, it's dangerous out here. If you're not going to fight, at least try to get back to the base. Maybe you can provide us some support from there.
Jeff doesn't move.
All right, then. Noah turns around and steps back forward with the group. He turns the watch on, spins it, and slams it down. Tron's armor forms over his body, his disc appearing in his hand. Well, I don't know how much this is going to do, but it's our only shot. The four in combat strike a battle pose, prepared to attack Scar. However, as they were all talking, they look up and realize that he's gone.
Duh, not cool, dude.
Oh man, what the hell?
Yeah, admittedly, that did take a bit of a long time. A voice echoes through the park. I'll destroy you yet. But, as anyone who knows me knows, I like to play with my food first. Come get me, if you can.
Alfred kicks a nearby can. He caught us monologuing.
Yeah, So much for villain predictability. He turned that around on us.
Adrian closes his eyes. Oh!
Noah looks at his watch for a moment, adjusting a setting. The darkness readings to the whole park are off the charts, but scars are even stronger. Looks like he's in the animal kingdom. That shouldn't surprise me, given who he is.
All right, then we know where we have to be. David jumps up and activates the thrusters under his boots and wings, hovering in place. We ready to go?
Adrian nods and takes off running at top speed toward the animal kingdom.
All right. Give me a lift, bro. David reaches down and takes his brother's hand and throws him on his back. He then takes off, flying toward the animal kingdom.
Noah reaches back and pulls a small baton from behind it. He steps toward Jeff. If you can, we can use your help. But if not, I understand. Just remember, we have to believe in the light. If we don't, the darkness will win. Noah walks away, flipping the bar horizontally. His light cycle forms, and he takes off toward the animal kingdom.
Yo, Noah, any idea where in this animal kingdom he is?
As the question is asked, a gunshot rings out. They see Clayton standing nearby. You know, this buffoon was always a bit of a blowhard, but these weapons of man are actually quite effective. He points the shotgun and begins firing at the group.
Oh, crap!
David swerves to the side and lands behind a tree to drop off his brother.
Noah pulls up on the light cycle and jumps off, landing on his feet. You know, it's interesting. I always thought lions and predatory animals hated men. Kind of surprised you choose that form, Scar. I know the benefits of all things. He spins the gun and fires at Noah. Noah leaps out of the way, avoiding the shot.
I'm surprised he's such a good shot with it, David cries out from behind the tree. A shot rings out and rips up part of the bark. Ah!
Well, remember, he's running these forms through Jacob's watch. He'd be taking on their powers, and apparently more their forms than we do. Just so, I guess it's like saying, how do you know how to be Baymax?
Well, I didn't at first. It was kind of a learning process, and bam, another shot rings out as he ducks back behind the tree.
He's been working with all these guys for months. He's probably been studying them. Scar is nothing if not a cunning manipulator.
Adrian blurs in front of Scar Clayton using his super speed and grabs for the gun.
Ah! Clayton spins around in place as he loses the gun. As he spins back around, he takes a few steps back. All right, then he pops the watch, spins it, and slams it down again. As he does, Clayton's yellow jacket turns to a red shirt, and he removes a bow and arrow. Very well, we'll hunt this in a more old-school fashion. He launches an arrow at the blur that is Adrian, but misses.
Adrian disassembles the gun at super speed and drops the parts as he books it back to the team. Oh, crap!
You know, as much as Gaston is arrogant, he was right about a few things. You truly are the beast here. I mean, I'm just trying to make the world a better place for all. Under my rule, there would be peace. He continues firing arrows.
Adrian slides to stop behind David. This is the safest place against arrows. This is the safest place against arrows.
I know, right? This is... I don't... He turns and sees Alfred is gone. Oh, where did... Alfred rushes out, holding ice out in front of him as a shield from the arrows. Charging full speed at Scar.
The arrows hit the ice but don't penetrate.
Once he gets close enough, he throws the shield aside and shoots ice at Scar's hands.
Ah! The ice freezes Scar Gaston's hands and causes him to drop his bow and arrow. Ah! He rushes to the side and smashes his hands against a nearby tree, breaking the ice. He weakly manages to slam the watch down again. As he does, the form of yokai appears. He summons the nanobots and takes off, leaving the animal kingdom.
Oh, that's gonna be a bad one. Come on, bro. David comes out from behind the tree.
Noah checks the watch. Where the hell? Looks like he's headed toward Hollywood Studios. Come on! The group takes off again.
As Scar lands in Hollywood Studios, he sees a shadowed form in the doorway. You know you can't win.
The Scar yokai lowers toward the ground. He does not speak, but merely stares.
Jeff walks out from the shadows as the rest of the team arrives. He walks calmly up to Scar. As I said before, I will not harm Jacob. But that doesn't mean I'm going to let you run roughshod over everyone and everything else. He stops in front of Scar. So, here I am, Scar. You know the power I wield. What are you going to do? Adrian reaches for Jeff. Dude, what are you doing?
Yokai Scar waves a hand, and the nanobots fly at Jeff.
Jeff holds his left hand up, almost as if he's expecting his hand to stop the nanobots. The nanobots swarm him. Suddenly, the watch begins to glow with energy. Yokai tried this before. It didn't work out. Jeff spins the dial on his watch, and suddenly a voice booms out from everywhere and nowhere. Remember, I live in you. Jeff slams the watch down as he's enveloped in golden fur. He lets out a monstrous roar. The nanobots seem to stop and back off at the roar as Jeff looks at Scar Yokai and narrows his feline eyes. You always were the worst brother. At least, that's what Father always said.
Scar Yokai takes a couple of steps back, clearly surprised by this turn of events.
David uses the opportunity to launch a rocket fist at Yokai Scar.
The rocket fist catches him off guard, knocking him aside, causing the nanobots to scatter. He falls to the ground, but begins picking himself up. As he does, the light that has enveloped Jeff begins enveloping the others.
Whoa.
Their watches glow, but so do they. It's as if the light is empowering them whole. Wait. Noah looks down at his watch for a minute, admiring the glowing around him. I think that was it. One thing about the light. The heroes always have to prove that they're willing to do whatever it takes to stop the darkness, even make sacrifices. In this case, possibly Jacob. I think that was a final test from the light. I think, he says, examining the watch closer. If I'm reading these power levels and my vitals correctly. Noah looks back up at Yokai Scar, who has come back to his feet. This time, despite the darkness around, Noah can't help but smile. This should be interesting. Guys, if I'm right, Noah begins running. He pulls his disc from his back and throws it. The nanobots block it, but as it comes flying back, Noah leaps into the air, lands on the disc, and flips over. In midair, he spins around, hits his watch, and suddenly is enveloped in green tights. He spins down and swings a sword, cutting the mask off of Yokai Scar's face. As Yokai Scar begins to fall, Noah slams the watch again, landing on the ground as the beast and tackling Yokai aside. The beast looks up. We're not limited to one anymore.
Jeff's eyes go wide. Holy shit.
David stares in amazement at what just happened. Oh.
The light, they're using it to maintain our bodies so that we don't give out, so that our hearts can take what we need to stop him. Yokai Scar pulls himself up off the ground, hitting his own watch. As a purple suit in the form of Dr. Facilier forms over him. Well, when I talked about friends on the other side, this is not what I had in mind. You know, he pulls up his shadow and sends it at the others as he attempts to get away.
Jeff smirks and looks over at David. Please do shut him up.
Glad to. As he goes to move forward, Alfred runs in front. I got this one, bro, and slaps him on the shoulder. He then runs forward, spins the watch, and slams it down, gaining the armor of Gizmo Duck. The wheels on his feet have him take off at high speed as he begins to shoot missiles out of his armor at him. Magic meet technology! Woo!
Adrian just face palms as Simba Jeff raises an eyebrow. Didn't see that one coming.
David just shrugs. Yeah, I still don't either. He's one of a kind.
Okay then.
Adrian takes off running after Gizmo Duck.
The rest of the group follows. They catch up. The group catches up to each other in downtown Disney, but Facilier Scar is nowhere to be seen.
He's a fast little bugger, isn't he?
Well, with all that power, it doesn't surprise me. Noah growls, choosing to retain the beast form for the time being.
David looks around. He pushes a few buttons on his helmet and tries to use the scanner that Baymax has. Maybe this can find him.
As the scanner kicks on, it shows a signal coming from the nearby Typhoon Lagoon.
Oh, think I got a hit, guys.
The
Going to Typhoon Lagoon.
Jeff looks over at Noah. Are all the water areas connected by chance?
They're connected to the purification systems, but I'm not sure if he had a form that could get through there. He isn't a human body, at any rate.
I wasn't talking about him. Jeff jumps into the air at the water in the middle of the Disney Springs area, spins his watch and slams it down as lightning envelops him and the form of Triton comes over his body. I'll meet you guys there. Jeff dives into the water and disappears.
David smiles and rockets off toward the Typhoon Lagoon. A propeller comes out of Gizmo Duck's helmet, and Alfred takes off after him.
Noah starts running, then pauses. What am I doing? He adjusts the watch, returning to the Tron form, pulling out his baton and taking off on his cycle.
Adrian jumps on his back and catches a ride with Noah.
As they speed off toward the lagoon and arrive, they see a turquoise energy emanating from the water. Well, boys, nice of you to catch up. They see Commander Rourke standing on the edge of the water, the crystal around his neck. You know, Atlantis was actually underwater for a long time, and this thing survived, so interested to see how that works out here. He waves his arms, and the turquoise energy ripples water up, throwing it at the team.
Through one of the water jets, Jeff emerges as Triton from behind Rourke, and he takes a swing with the trident. Surprise!
He puts up an energy shield, but the trident smashes through it, hitting Rourke, knocking him aside. Stop! Useless. He pulls himself up and spins the watch. This time, a red costume and a feathered hat appear on his head. He whips out a sword. You want to duel, then? Let us duel.
Jeff spins the trident in his hand as a column of water erupts from the lagoon and catches him. The water that Rourke had thrown at the other stops and flies back, creating a ball of pressurized water above the trident. If you wish. Jeff launches the ball of water at Scar.
Oh dear. The water hits him. The water hits him. It picks him up off the ground and flows out of downtown Disney. Noah steps off his bike. Well, you took him down, but you also gave him a chance to get away. I guess we'll take it. Come on.
Jeff jumps down off the water pillar and back onto land. My bad? Jeff shrugs.
The group follow the path of water, which seems to lead back around toward Epcot.
He's going for the dome.
Now, they arrive at Epcot and begin looking around. Anyone see anything?
Not so far.
Noah checks his watch. Something coming from the World Showcase. Let's see. The team heads down the World Showcase, looking at the individual pavilions as they go.
So, is there something we should be looking for?
Big evil dude.
As they head down, they pass by the pavilion dedicated to France. As they do, flames spring up in front of them. Whoa!
Ah!
Ooh.
Not cool, dude. Not cool.
I didn't know France was so caliente. David looks at his brother and shakes his head.
The sins and atrocities you have committed bear no forgiveness. You will burn. Scar Frollo steps out from behind a nearby column and shoots the fire at them.
Adrian steps in the way. I got this one. He rotates his watch and slams it down as blue fur envelops him, and he just stands there, and then he catches the fire in his hands. I think this belongs to you. He throws the fire back at Frollo.
The fire comes flying at Frollo. It hits him and it hits and envelops his body. Ah! As the fire envelops, he manages to slam his watch hand against the nearby column. The fire around him turns blue. Oh, that's the stuff. So, boys, really think we're going to do this? Because, yeah, power of a god here. Not going to happen.
Oh boy.
Hades waves an arm as fireballs appear in both his hands, and he begins throwing them. At the same time, then he moves around the group, swiping with his other hand.
David quickly turns his watch and slams it down, gaining the Goliath armor. As the fire goes to hit him, he crouches down and turns into stone. The fire just hits him and does not burn him.
Huh, stone, it's a neat trick. Normally those dark kind of creatures work for me. Go figure.
The stone wears off and he looks back at Hades. Yeah, normally, but this time nothing's gonna work for you. He runs forward and takes a swipe with his claws.
The swipe catches Hades. He manages to steady himself. As he does, Noah, who has returned to beast form, rams a shoulder into him, sending him flying backward into part of the World Showcase. Part of the building collapses on him. We'll fix that later. Suddenly, a loud screeching can be heard from the building. Giant wings erupt from the debris as the Jabberwock takes off into the air.
Oh, right, that.
I forgot
Alfred
about that
looks
one.
up. Whoa! I don't remember that. David looks at his brother. Yeah, you weren't. Look, let's just do this, okay? You got it.
The Jabberwock takes off, making a beeline for the Magic Kingdom. He's headed for the kingdom. We've got to stop him.
Jeff nods. Right. He rotates his watch again and slams it down as red armor envelops him. Let's take it out the dragon with the dragon. Suddenly he feels a weight on his back. Whoa, what the hell? Adrian just grins at him through the stitched teeth. Let's go!
Noah spins his own watch, returning to Peter Pan form and taking to the air.
All right, kid. Jeff takes to the skies.
Alfred deploys his helmet propeller and takes off, this time carrying David with him. This is way faster than gliding. I know. Woo!
Jeff looks over his shoulder at Adrian. You know, you're lucky Jake Long has enhanced strength.
As they
Alfred,
head down... Oh, go ahead.
Alfred can be heard in the distance. Fat joke.
As they head down toward the Magic Kingdom, they see the Jabberwock land, and then in a puff of purple smoke, they lose visibility. He transformed again. Be careful. He swoops down as Peter Pan and lands on a nearby rooftop, trying to survey the area.
Smoke, huh? Alfred says, grinning, and turns the watch. He slams it down and takes the form of Darkwing Duck. I'll give him some gas. He loads up the gun and begins looking through, trying to find Scar.
Adrian looks down from Jeff's back. Dude, why did you do that in midair?
It's fine, man. David glides and lands.
Smoke, huh? Yo, American Dragon Boy. Think you can give me a fastball special? I think I can do that. Jeff halts himself in midair as Adrian Stitch does a flip off his back and ends up in front of him. Jeff catches him, winds up, and throws Adrian straight into the middle of the smoke. In the middle of the smoke, a flash of light can be seen, and all of a sudden the smoke gets pulled straight into the center. A red and black whirlwind can be seen pulling in the smoke. Good thinking, kid. Jeff lands with the others. So, where'd he go?
Noah checks the watch. Looks like he's headed toward Tomorrowland. Oh, I hope it's not Zerg this time. They take off. They take off. They take off toward Tomorrowland, following the signal. He's not here. He's moved into Fantasyland. Come on. They continue. They continue on, exiting the Tomorrowland area. Glad not to have run into any villain here.
Whew.
They arrive in Fantasyland and they see more of the smoke. This time, the smoke forms into Jafar. So I'm reduced to this. The foam of my so-called second-in-command. How embarrassing. He points his staff, blasting magic at the team.
Wait, what? I thought we had the staff.
You did have the staff from the actual Jafar. However, with the form comes the tools. I thought you of all people would know that by now.
Adrian turns around and glances at David and notices the staff still strapped to his back. Dude, now would be a good time.
David grabs the staff and holds it in his hand, looking at it. He smiles, spins his watch, and slams it down with the staff. Blue armor envelops him, and magical smoke comes. It's genie time, he says, pointing both fingers at Jafar. Remember me? He then takes a staff, twirls it around, and uses magic on it, and a blade of light comes out of one end. Genie begins making noises. Vroom, vroom. Let's do this, Jafar. He jumps forward and begins swinging the staff at him.
Jafar begins staff dueling with the genie. Jafar and I didn't always agree on much, but one thing we did agree with is that you are a big blue nuisance.
Yes, but there's also one thing. I am not left-handed. He then tosses it into his other hand and begins dueling again.
Jafar is momentarily stunned by this, but continues fighting. Jafar growls angrily, floating backwards into the air, landing on the ground. Smoke envelops him again, and his snake form appears.
Adrian runs behind him and starts running up the snake as Dash. As he gets to the top, he leaps straight into the air, spins the watch, and slams it down as the clothes of a nomad appear over him. He draws his scimitar, spins it in the air, and drives the blade straight down on Jafar's head, hoping he'll hit.
The blade catches a piece of Jafar's snakehead, taking a chunk off, but not doing all that as much damage as it could have if he had hit straight on. I knew this form was big and clumsy. Why on earth he'd pick us up at all things, filthy creatures? The snake turns and slithers out of Fantasyland, heading into Frontierland.
Quick, he's going back to yesterday.
We've got to follow him. Noah flies down his pan, hits the watch, and lands on his light cycle, taking off after the snake.
Genie transforms into his own version of the light cycle with a giant goofy face on it. Alfred looks at it, smiles, jumps on, and takes off.
Adrian lands on the light cycle genie behind Alfred and sheaths his sword. Woo! Jeff just sighs, flap, 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 and just flies after them.
This ain't the rat catcher, but it's gotta do.
The team follows the snake path into Frontierland. As they do, they see the tail end of the snake on the other side of the park. It turns around hissing and swings its tail at them. Get back! Look out!
To avoid it, David spins out and dumps his passengers on the ground as he tumbles off and transforms back into the genie form. Oh, sorry, guys. Whoa!
Ow.
Noah, tearing forward on the light cycle, jumps off, switches to beast form in midair, and lands on the snake's back. He jabs a claw through the scales. This will end here and now. Filthy mongrels. The snake spins around, trying to shake the beast off.
Genie jumps up, now clad in the armor that looks like it was made out of some creature with a giant hammer. I know how to hunt a big monster. He then crashes the hammer down on the end of the tail.
The snake shouts out in pain. The sudden jarring movement is enough to shake the beast loose as Noah goes tumbling onto the ground. The snake howls in pain and spins its tail around. As it does, the smoke form turns back into regular form Jafar. I grow tired of this. He takes off into the air, flying out of Frontierland and toward Adventureland.
Jeff takes off after him, leaving his team behind. Get back here, you snake!
The rest of the group follows after. They catch up to him in Frontierland. As they do, the smoke envelops him again, and this time the form standing beside them is the Scar they're more familiar with. This game grows tiresome. I thought these fools would be of some benefit, but clearly I was wrong. I'll have to do this myself.
Jeff lands in front of Scar, still in the Jake armor. Well, you picked the wrong form to do it. Jeff begins to take a deep breath. Jeff unleashes fire breath directly at Scar.
Scar dodges out of the way, inhumanly fast, as darkness envelops around him. That's not going to work. He sprints over, tackling Jeff off of his feet as they roll around on the ground. He starts swinging a claw, trying to paw at his face.
Jeff's tail lifts up and wraps around one of Scar's leg. Get off me, you mangy cat! Boom! He tries to fling Jafar with his tail.
Scar is flung off,
Scar,
but being
sorry.
a cat lands on his feet.
David Genie rushes forward, trying to tackle him with his shoulder. Crush!
The shoulder hits Scar and he rolls over. But rolling back onto his feet, he roars. As he does, dark energy emanates, hitting the entire group, knocking them down.
Genie flies back almost comically far and leaves a hole in the wall. Ow. Stars can be heard.
Scar takes off toward Liberty Square.
Oh, that was stupid.
That was a little bit more dangerous than I wanted to get. Ow.
That hurt a little bit. But now we know he's more powerful in his own form than he is in any of the others.
Whoa, maybe he's like using his own power as his own armor, so it like doubles it.
There's a logic in that.
Alfred then reaches through the hole and begins to drag his brother out of it, who's covered in rubble. Did anyone get the number of that cart? It's okay, bro. It's fine. He pats him on the back.
We're running out of options. We can't chase him around forever. I need to know, he turns to the team. If it means ending this, are you prepared to do what we have to do?
Alfred steps forward and grimly nods.
Adrian steps up next to Alfred. Yes, I'm in.
Genie kind of hobbles forward and shrugs. Maybe? Alfred looks at him and shakes his head.
Jeff stands up next to the genie. I'm with Genie. I'd prefer if we didn't have to, but if we do, well...
I know, can't we just, break his watch or something? Genie says, holding his hands up.
We could, but that's not going to get Scar out. The watch is only, much like with us, the watch only channels the magic. The magic is within us.
Jeff thinks for a moment. Hey, Noah, do you have any more traps left?
The trap forms as it's needed out of magic, but it's a possibility. However, if you're thinking that, I don't know if it'll be enough for all the power he has now, but I have another idea. And unluckily for Scar, he's headed in exactly the right direction for it. Come on.
A glint appears in David's eye. I have an idea, too. He strokes his chin.
The team heads off through Liberty Square, ending up back on Main Street, USA, in front of Cinderella Castle, where the adventure began. As they arrive, they turn and see Scar standing on the drawbridge near the entrance to the castle. So, this is where it ends. Here at the supposed heart of the good magic. It really says something about you when... Not even me. One of the fools took your base out that quickly. But at any rate, I'm done with games. Darkness forms around him. Noah pauses. Guys, we have to get him away from the castle and back out here on the main street. Not too far, just so that he's on this side of the courtyard.
You got it, Chief. Genie, only hearing that part, runs toward Jafar. He stops in front of him. All right, Scar. You know what? You suck, and now so do I. Genie spins around and wears blue overalls with a green cap and has a vacuum on his back. He then points it at him and turns it on, trying to suck up all the dark smoke.
Pest! Scar roars at the genie and he goes flying comically backward again.
As David goes flying back, Jeff flies in still in American Dragon form. Alright, Scar. Now it's going to be you and me. As he nears Scar, he flies straight up over Scar, spins his watch and slams it down as golden energy envelops him. He drops straight down on Scar in the form of Simba.
The two lions tumble, swiping and pawing at each other. They roll off the drawbridge into the courtyard. You know, I always thought I hated my brother more, but you are far worse.
Jeff tries to snap at Scar. Well, what can I say? I got the better side of the family.
He paws Scar in the face, who is clawed, scratched lightly, and he rolls off. As this happens, Noah appears behind him in beast form. He runs at Scar, but Scar is faster than the beast and dodges out of the way. Beast crashes on the ground and rolls to the side. Missed. Alfred, Adrian, anytime, guys.
As Scar lands, a blue hand grabs his tail. Got your tail.
He turns around trying to bite at the hand holding his tail, but to little avail.
So yeah, Noah, anytime now. I'm strong, but yeah, he's gonna break free eventually.
As he says this, a wave of darkness erupts from Scar's body, knocking him aside.
Ah!
Noah pulls himself up. Noah pulls himself up. Scar has now positioned himself on the far side of the courtyard, near the statue of Walt and Mickey. Beast leaps into the air, transforming into Peter Pan in midair, landing near the statue. Sorry, Scar, but this is where it ends. Noah takes his watch hand and shakes the open hand of the Walt Disney statue. As he does, the statue of Walt and Mickey begins to glow. No, that's what it's been this whole time. Scar growls, furious. He turns to try to leave. Don't let him get away!
Alfred shoots the grappling hook out of his Darkwing Duck gun to wrap around Scar's feet. Not so fast, dude.
Scar falls, unable to use his rear paws. He issues a loud roar, but as the darkness comes out, light from the statue hits it. Luckily, they finally managed to get this fixed. As Noah speaks, the pedestal holding the statue raises, revealing what appears to be a vault door. Scar growls, rolling around, transforming back into the form of Jacob. Go ahead, then. Destroy your friend, your precious Jacob. I'm waiting. The team assembles next to each other, staring Jacob down. We don't have a choice, guys. Noah adjusts his watch, switching back to Tron form, pulling out his disc.
Jeff reaches up and stops him. No. He then rotates his own watch and slams it down as the form of Triton reappears over him. He pulls his trident out and looks down at Jacob. First, we do this. He points the Triton at Jacob's watch and lets loose with a bolt of thunder.
The thunder hits the watch, damaging it, and it falls off Jacob's wrist. The darkness is still enveloping Jacob, but it seems to have been slightly weakened. Jacob falls down on all fours. The magic envelops him further, and what appears to be the form of Scar, made out of the magic itself, forms around him on all fours. It won't end like this! Scar roars, releasing his energy, and begins pushing the team back.
That does it!
Guys, we're not gonna push through this. Projectiles! He pulls his ring out. Darkwing, you should already be set. David, Baymax!
David in the genie form was dressed up as a cowboy. Oh, it was gonna be high noon. He then puts his hands in the holsters, and they've returned to hand forms. He spins the watch around and slams it down. He then gets enveloped in the armor of Baymax. I heard a sound of distress. He smiles.
Adrian spins his watch and slams it down as the Arabian wraps appear once again around his body. Let's do this. Adrian reaches behind him and hooks his hands into all the knives in his robes. Jeff looks defiantly over at Dark Scar and points his trident. Hey, Scar! What happens to a cat when it's struck by lightning? He lets loose with a powerful super thunder blast. The same thing as everything else.
The others release their projectiles. The projectiles meet in the air, forming a glowing light circle of energy. It penetrates the wave of darkness Scar is releasing. Oh, no! No! It hits Scar, knocking him backward into the open vault. He disappears into the light. The vault slams closed, and the statue descends back into place. As it does, the light fades from the team's watches, and they transform back to normal, falling to the ground in exhaustion.
Whoa.
I probably should have mentioned they finally managed to patch the cracks in that vault, at least temporarily. It should hold long enough for us to build a stronger one.
Adrian looks up. So, signed, sealed, and delivered, I guess?
Pretty much. The only thing I don't know is what'll happen to Jacob in there. I mean, it's light magic, so I can't imagine it would destroy him, but it's going to take some time for us to figure out the end result. The group stands up. Ugh. Noah turns to the others. Well, gentlemen, we did it. For now, anyway. He looks down at his watch. You proved that the light is stronger than the darkness. The darkness will always be there. It's a balance thing. I'm sure you know the spiel by now. But as long as we keep the darkness balanced with the light, it won't get out of control. As long as we keep making heroes to counter the villains, as much love for the villains as there are, we can keep it under control.
Jeff stands up and rests a shoulder on David's shoulder, or rests an elbow on David's shoulder as he turns and looks at David and smiles. Well, you know what they always say. The world can always use more heroes.
And they ain't ever had a friend like us.
Noah chuckles under his breath. Thank you for all your help. I know when I first called you here, this seemed insane. But you believed. And of all the things that we stand for, belief in oneself and in good is our primary tenet.
Adrian smiles and turns to Alfred, high-fiving him. That was awesome!
Yeah! Oh man, I can't wait for the sequel. Woo!
Noah ushers the others back toward the dock. He steps near the boat. Well, this is where you have a choice. The mission is over. You've done what we needed of you. I wouldn't dream of asking more. If you want to go home, you can. If not, well, we might not need this anymore. He glances down at his watch. But we're always looking for Imagineers, those who believe to help enhance and maintain the defenses should the darkness ever return. It's up to you guys.
Jeff looks around and then folds his arms. You know, after seeing how your current staff handles their tech, Jeff then walks up and pats Noah on the shoulder. You need me more than you realize, buddy.
Alfred jumps up and throws his arm up in the air. Yeah! Oh man, I am totally... He looks over and sees David already standing next to Noah. Wait! David smiles. I can't pass up an opportunity like this. You should know that. Alfred smiles and runs over and high-fives his brother.
Adrian just laughs and walks with the team. Yeah, well, I am an actor, and what's a better place for an actor than with Walt Disney Company, right?
How right you are. Noah turns, and the five board the ferry to head back toward the base on Discovery Island. Their adventure finished for now. The camera pans up. The sun shines over Walt Disney World. Magical crews have already repaired the damage from the battle as the gates open. And the dreamers come in for another day.
Yay!
End series.
Yay!
Woo!
Woo! All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Well,
Thank
it
you.
actually turned out better than I thought it would.
That turned out better than I thought it would. But dude, stop trying to god mod and do everything your fucking self. You keep screwing me up.
I just wanted to
Sorry.
use one line.
The line was great. I get that, but the fact is like, I'm going to shoot his watch off first. Like, fair enough, that was a clever idea, but I was trying to set up a dramatic moment, and you kept interrupting it.
Well, I also felt if we were going to do something like take out Jacob, I felt it would be appropriate if Jeff was the one to do it, considering everything that's happened.
I know, but you always feel it's appropriate for your characters to do everything. You do that in every RPG.
Well, it's the way we develop the character. I'm like, really, you're gonna have someone else other than Jeff be the one to?
No, it's the way you
potentially
develop the character. But we'll discuss this in a minute. Stay tuned, everyone. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes, and we're going to have a little discussion, a little post-series fallout. We're going to talk about the series as a whole, characters, the episodes, everything that went down, and we'll give you a little more insight on what happened. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the finale. Thank you to you two. Thank you to my co-creator, Chris the Mole, who, again, could not be here because of limited computer. So, full credit to him for creation of the story. He's the one that came up with this amazing idea. I just helped flesh it out a little bit, and
many of the plot ideas too. Like,
and I was when he was unable to continue in a more regular capacity due to technological limitations, I was happy to step up, and I felt it really helped get my creative juices going to try to come up with some great ideas for this. And some episodes weaker than others, but I hope everyone enjoyed it. We'll talk more about this in the next video. I'm James Phoenix. This has been Disney Heroes, and remember, always believe.